Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P Funk, thinking right out here in the lab where I do what I do for you. I'm doing Nebthet again. You know the deal. I got you. Let's rock. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message and story for life. I give life lessons. You tune in and receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's rock. Right thinking mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinker's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. Right thinkers, your goal as a right thinker is to know thyself. You get the form here, you get the concept. Okay, that's what we're here to do. That's what I got for you. You come in, tune in, and get it, use them, and you will know thyself. So I asked the question, do you know you? It's rhetorical, but if you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believes and thinks that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm a spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself. And to my yacht, be true. Yeah, we back home again. I got you. We in the lesson number 7, rounding out, come around the bend, about halfway home now. So let's talk about, again, right thinkers, let's talk about death to anyone who chooses Nebthet. Nah, but those who are seduced by Nebthet, like Asar, are led to death. What the what? Let me break that down for y'all. This is gonna be fun. I enjoyed this part. Let's go. Now, those who are seduced by Nebthet, like again Asar, are led to death. If you recall the Asarian resurrection myth, one of my favorite stories, Set was a jealous person and he envied Asar. Quick one. If your brother impregnated your sister, would you have love for him? Just a little tidbit. Just throw it out there. That's what happened. So we're gonna get to that. But Set, which is your ego, he wanted to be king. Your ego wants to be in control. And it will do whatever it needs to or they think it has to get control over you. So he was jealous and he was leading himself to the road of what? Negative thinking. If you allow negative thoughts to creep into your mind, right thinking is keeping negative thoughts at bay. You can't stop them, but you can keep them at bay. You can control your actions on them. You ain't got to act on every negative thought. Okay? And negative thinking, and now you start to begin with what? And when the Satanian principle, that's the ego, which is the ego. Boy. I need just read. Okay. Is led through what? Unrighteousness. Through what we call unmayat. Okay. That's unrighteousness. That's the opposite of mayat. Okay. To entertain negative thoughts of self-importance, jealousy, envy. These lead to anger, hatred, violence, and so on to what? Disaster. It's never good when the ego is in control. It's not going to end well. Simple as that. But those thoughts will eventually compel your personality to what? Take action. If you don't control them negative thoughts, they start to mount up. They start to get more and more. Eventually, you're going to act on that negative thought. That's going to be your negative IRE. And that is what? Unrighteousness. Why? due to your passions, which was based on what? Delusions that's supported by your ignorance and vices. Your ego, your lower nature, all it knows is what it wants. This leads what? To Asar's death. You are Asar. Your ego is going to kill you. Watch. And this is beckoning of the world of time and space, which will lead to what? Death of the human being. And not just a single death, but what? Reincarnation. That means you're not learning the lesson. You keep repeating the cycle of life and death. Birth, life, death. Birth, life, death. That's the reincarnated state for those who don't learn. And you're going to have what? More death experiences. And it is like a constant, you ready? Killing process that you are what? Doing to yourself. Think about it. Constant suicide. My man says, Sadi Guru says, when we drinking poison, doing wrong things and engaging in the wrong acts, we think other people are going to die. No, you're going to die. That's death by installments. He said, you installing death on your own self periodically, but you watching other people and claiming they're going to die, but you will too. Okay? Understand that. And that is what happens, what? To the ignorant soul. When you are indulging, here we go, in what? The world of time and space. All this good stuff. Yeah, you got to have nice clothes, fancy house, big car. When you indulging in those things out of what? Ignorance. And that's what it is. It leads to, you ready? Suffering and eventually death. But that is not necessarily a bad thing. Why? If death leads to a process of what? Increasing wisdom. However, that word, it can be a process of interminable suffering if the wisdom never dawns. If you never get the knowledge and understanding, you doomed to what? Reincarnate over and over. That's the concept. So Nebthet, the principle, represents death. It's supposed to be a good thing. Why? The physical body will die. But this should not be thought of as a bad thing. Why? Through death, but a real death is what? Should be thought of as a real death. Why? It should be thought of as death to, you ready? Worldly desires and egoistic ignorance of oneself. The soul can now be led to what? A spiritual awakening through who? Asar, which is immortality, which is wisdom and intuitive knowledge, which is the next level up after Nebthet. Nebthet represents mortality, death. Again, that is what happens to Asar. Why? You see, as we learn from the Asarian resurrection myth, he got drunk, intoxicated, and mistaken Nebthet for Asar. They had sex and she had. Back then, the purpose of having sexual relations was to what? Reproduce. Unless you want to have kids, sex was not on the agenda. Simple. Moving on. Y'all can't even concede that today. No sex? Blah, 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 blah. No, sex was the downfall of man. Why? He found that it wasn't just to regenerate, it was for pleasure. So now he wastes his whole life trying to just have pleasure. Right now, y'all got pills to keep your little thing longer. You can have more sex longer. 67-year-old men killing themselves. That is death. Again, that's death. What? That thrill, that sexual orgasm, that's slow death. I got a lesson for that too. Moving on. But that's the concept. Watch this. So for ordinary people, that means most are ignorant. And 85% of the masses are ordinary people, meaning y'all ignorant of yourself. That's not a good number. Another lesson, but I got a problem with that too. But who are caught up in the world. Again, y'all caught up. The prospect of saying, watch this, the idea of saying goodbye to this worldliness, he wanted to hang on no matter, why? Because he didn't know nothing else. He wasn't wise. He wasn't awoke. He didn't reach Nihas. He stayed on that level of getting him, doing him. In the end, that's what happened. They kick, scream, and fight to the end. But you are saying goodbye to this world, No sex, no money, no pleasures. And that's all the pursuit of what? Egoistic desires and inconceivable. Why? You will perish. You're not going to be here but for so long. And if you spend that life that you're here wasting it on just having sex and having fun and doing you're going to get born again. Why? You ain't going home. Reincarnated. But for the sage and saints, people who are enlightened, yeah, I'm a sage. I'm enlightened. What is that? Okay. People who are enlightened, the conception of death, watch this, to the world of time and space is a wonderful, and sometimes they look forward to what? To something running into and to promote. Why? I don't care about the physical things. I'm not entertained and crazy about doing a whole bunch of stuff. Why? I'm enlightened. I know better now. I have no desires for those things. If I were to tell you I don't watch sports no more, if you knew me, you say that's crazy, that's impossible. But I don't watch sports no more. Moving on. That's changing. And for those aspirants, right thinkers, who are what? Increasing in what? Their understanding of who? Themselves, what happens? They look to who? The sage, to what? Teach them what? More of this philosophy we call right thinking, so that they may what? Learn how to what? You ready? Avoid the follies of most human beings, meaning that Ouroboros, repeating, recycling myself, reincarnate, and why? Because I didn't get enlightened. Now you want to come and get the lessons. That's why I'm doing here for you, to get you to what? Know thyself. That's my goal. And the ordinary, spiritually ignorant people, egoistically and ignorantly think what? Or believe that they are going to find peace and calm and quiet in the world, some fulfillment. You get a big house, not happy. They get rich, they're not happy. They got everything they could think and wish for, still not happy. Why? They don't know themselves. True happiness is having knowledge of self. All the other stuff means nothing. That's not that. All the stuff in the world, illusionary. Why? Without knowing knowledge of self, you will die. You will perish, like everything else in this illusionary world. I got more information for you. Let's go. Now, watch this. There are many people, for example, I say 85% of us, who take a vacation. So to what? To the Bahamas, and they may have a good time. I took a whole lesson, a whole paragraph out of the book. Why? This I call filler. This is just fluff, but I'm gonna give it to you this side because this was paragraph into the other side I didn't read. But watch this. They may have a good time being away temporarily from what? From their job, their family, their so-called daily worries, and their personal anxieties. I'm on vacation. I'm on vacation. Oh, yeah. Okay, but what's happened? So, and then what? They see how wonderful things seem to be. So they try to what? Move to that location, the Bahamas. It's sunny there, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and what happened after that? After going through all that trouble of moving there, what happened? They discovered, ding, 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 they have the same problems, plus possibly some more new ones that they discover once what? They begin to live there. All the things that you don't realize, the same family issues, work-related issues are there, and new troubles may arise. Why? That's what you put yourself in position for. Like you may have too many mosquitoes, okay, or a war may break out, or something else that may happen that what you didn't foresee. And the idea is that, like the ancient Egyptian proverb states, he who searches for oneself in the world is in the pursuit of an illusion, just like the religious people believe Jesus Christ in the Bible. I just put that in. That wasn't always there. That wasn't the Egyptian proverb. The Egyptian proverb states that he who searches for life and searching for the world is a pursuit of illusion. It's not real. Jesus Christ, Christians, not real. Just had to get that in. So let me wrap this up. I'm teaching. So the real death that Nebthet should be leading to is a what? The death of illusionariness. There is a physical world. of the illusionariness of the world that leads to what? Discernment. And that depth of discernment means learning truth from what? Untruth, which is going to lead you to what? Not pursue the superficial worldly pleasures of the world of time and space. Now you realizing I don't need that big fancy car. I don't need that big fancy. What I do need, there you go, peace of mind, self-knowledge, okay? Peace within oneself, knowledge of oneself. That take you a lot further than the materialistic stuff that once you get it, it ain't no longer good to nobody but you. Okay? Understand that. And you'll be fine. Now, that is the kind of depth that you want to have. That is to be what? Sort of through what? You ready? Righteous cultivation of your personality. You have to better yourself. And through what? Spiritual discipline that you can practice daily of what? My right thinker philosophy. You will become a right thinker, or AKA a spiritual aspirant. Right here, which is who? I tell you, Haru, that's you. And when that happens, what happened? That discerning insight that you get from who? Ampu, y'all know him as Anubis, develops within you. That's the ability to what? Know right from wrong. And then to follow the path of righteousness will develop. You have to want to travel that path. It ain't easy, okay? So this is what Ampu represents. He's the offspring of Nebthet. Her son is discernment. Through who? Her and Asar. Spirit and mortality brings on discernment. Watch this. And the ability to know right from wrong develops. And this is what Ampu represents. Although he is not in the direct divinity, why, per se, why, of the tree of life, because he is an ancillary divinity, if you will, of the Asarian resurrection myth and of the tree. So he is a very important principle in our studies. We're going to learn about him too. What? Your discernment, your ability to know right from wrong. I get a lesson. When my discernment wasn't up to snuff, I made a bad decision. My discernment didn't kick in. Okay? So you have to be discernible all the time, or you're going to make what? Some bad decisions. Watch this. So this death that Nebthet is beckoning us towards is actually a wonderful mystery. And this is one of the reasons why, you ready? Sexuality is given as one of her symbols of Nebthet. Sexuality between her and Asar is paramount. Why? In the understanding of the fact that the sexuality in the world of time and space is that the principle of what? Generation in the realm of time and space. And it operates in many human pursuits, but mostly grossly in what? The physical sexual act of intercourse between two physical bodies, be they animals, humans, instinct, etc. And leads to what? The generation of offspring. I told you, when in the Bible, when they know each other, they say when so-and-so knew so-and-so, that means they had sex and they begot kids. They knew that the sexual connection was to have offspring, not to go buck wild. That's where we at now. So ancient times, it didn't go down like that. Okay. Now they knew two physical people get together and they had sex. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna have a baby. Okay. I ain't saying don't have sex, some people. They got a thing called protection. We all tried the rhythm thing, all the windlassing, all that nonsense, trying to figure out. Nope, it's a crapshoot. Moving on, but to refrain from intercourse, that's the next level. But anything that get together, physical bodies, they're gonna generate offspring, and all generated things, including offsprings, are what? Things that come out of other things. Babies come out of women. Sperm come out of man, okay? Only things that are whole do not come out of other things, and do not give themselves to things that come out of other things. So what? I'm getting at is that here is rather like a riddle. It's like a riddle. But if you are whole, meaning you have knowledge of self, you are not going to indulge in what? Things that are what? Unwhole. But somebody may come to you and ask you to go out, party with them, and go on and have a good time. And you say, well, I don't need to do that. Why? I'm already having a good time right here, right now. Sadi Guru said, I stay blissed out. I stay amped up. Why? I took a drug called God back in 2011. I'm still high. That's why. Okay. That's the concept. And like I said, he said, I'm already there. I'm already having a good time. I don't need to go out with you and have fun to have fun, enjoy. Nope, I don't need that. But you have that person is saying, well, going out to have a bar or to have a good time, you're gonna do that today, you're gonna do it again tomorrow. And they are what? They're going across town to another nightclub. They're going around flying to New York or some other city in search of what? More enjoyment, to find happiness in the world. That's never going to happen, but they do it. Watch this. They want more entertainment, and in reality, they just getting more distraction, and they're distracting them away from what is real and true. Consider that if you have a mature attitude about life and insight of who you are into the teachings of right thinking philosophy, you gain pleasure. Watch this, and this is right on point. You gain pleasure and peace from meditation, practice, studying of the philosophical teachings, okay, in my case, studying the teachings I'm going to teach, and yet you get enjoyment, yes, from looking at the iconographs of the Neteru and listening to or reading about the myths about the Neteru and their teachings. Again, that person is in the pursuit of generation, the fragmented reality of life, and you are in the realm of seeking, again, what? The whole, based on what? Your higher truth of the underlying spirit in which all things are connected. That gives you pursuit of wholeness is knowing thyself, okay? And it gives you what? Peace of mind, as opposed to the person to what? Who's distracted and their undiscerning mind. That person has a clouded intellect and a restless heart. You have a clear intellect, calm, peaceful, and therefore you have deaf to the things that are what that person is into. You don't concern yourself with partying, having a good time, all that nonsense. So forever, but however, that person is giving themselves to what? Death, but really unable to fully fulfill the promise of that death. Why? So they must continue to pursue life enjoyments after enjoyment, life after life, reincarnated. And then at the end of every life, they do what? They come back and do it again to be reincarnated again. So in life, there will be no abiding peace for that person, and in death, there will be no peace either. Only what? More coming back to the world again to run like that hamster on the wheel, doing a lot of activity, hustling and running fast, even faster, but what? Getting nowhere. Now, that is a pathetic situation, and most people in the world are in that situation. My job is to get you out as best I can. Tune in. My job is to do just that, get you out of that mode. And that's how they live. And that is why what? The world, you ready, is in the condition that is in right now. It's full of people who what? Pursuing egoistic personal desires and not listening to who? Me, the voice of reason and wisdom and enlightenment. In other words, the Ampul principle, we get to that later, or the quality has been born in them, hasn't been born into them yet. Why? Therefore, their death is a form of suffering, but the death is the authentic spiritual death of the authentic spiritual aspirant is what? A boon. Why? Because it is a pleasurable experience. You know that you going home. So those people who are comfortable in the face of death does just that. And they don't have any feeling or missing anything in the world or feeling desires anything of the world. To them, all the money that wealthy people can have cannot compare to that peace. And that's the lesson. In closing, right thinkers, may you always be 100 and be 100 minus a day. So I never know that right thinkers like you have passed away. Bye bye.